This is Up for Debate, episode number 249, recorded February 23rd, 2023. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two of us agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by a man who, forget Patrick Mahomes, he's lived his whole life on a bum ankle. It's Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
Bum knee, actually, but
close enough.
Mr. Sean, how's things?
Things are great, Matt. Oh, my goodness. Super Bowl fever is alive and well. America can't stop talking about the Super Bowl 2 weeks after it happened.
It was an exciting game, yes. Very exciting game up until the very end. One of the more exciting Super Bowls. I'll tell you this. It was so exciting and so many interesting things happened in this game that even I'm listening to a number of podcasts, some of which are sports related, some of which are not. Even the not sports related podcasts are still talking about it, just like kind of like ours. But I guess it was that of interest that even people that don't necessarily know or care much about sports are still talking about it. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
Like maybe, yeah.
No, I was being sarcastic. I don't think anybody's talking about it. But that being said, I would put this up in the pantheon of pretty good Super Bowls. I don't think anything was game-changing, life-altering, never seen before, but I don't think any part of it was bad either. So I would call it a solid Super Bowl.
Solid's a good word for it. It's I'm still hearing people talk, but then again, the episodes I'm listening to are from like maybe a week after the Super Bowl. Now we're in that like ready for America's best sport, baseball, to come back. So we had enough of our second best sport, but now we're ready for the best sport. Yeah.
But you of course know what kicked off this past weekend. The XFL.
XFL, of course. Yes.
It's spring football time.
We usually talk about this off mic, but we should totally do an episode about the new XFL season.
Yeah, there were nothing is more up for debate than us planning a Super Bowl episode and just spending a bunch of the time talking about the XFL. That's very much our MO.
That's on par for us. That's what the listeners are here for. They had some new teams too. I think we could talk about this in a later episode. But I was looking at some of the teams have shifted. New York lost their team, the Guardians. They play somewhere else now.
They moved. They're now the Orlando Guardians. The Tampa Bay Vipers is now the Las Vegas Vipers. The LA Wildcats is no more. Has been replaced by San Antonio. Now has a team, and the Dallas Renegades are now the Arlington Renegades. I think those are all the changes.
A lot of movement in the XFL, a lot of shifting sands. Speaking of shifting sands, how about this shifting grass that they employed in this game?
You had one job.
Slippery grass.
One job.
Tahoma 31 is the name of this grass, and it looked like an ice skating rink out there, as they say.
Yeah, it turns out you can't put like a whole bunch of paint on the field and it not on grass and not think it's not going to be slippery.
Now I'm all for this, Sean. I think it actually kind of adds something to the game. It reminds me of, did you ever play Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64? No Mario Tennis ever?
I never played N64.
Well, all right. So you had like in Mario Tennis, I'll set the scene for you. There are like 3 or 4 different courts you can play on, different like types of court. And so, for example, the clay court makes the ball have like almost no bounce when it hits. Like there's almost no bounce. But a composite court, the ball has like this crazy high bounce. And a grass court, it's got like somewhere in the middle. And then it plays with like the speed of the ball and other things like that, and the speed of like your player on the court. I think that there is a place for this Tahoma 31. I think that some stadiums should start to use it, but with the knowledge that it's slippery as hell and that it's basically like playing on an ice skating rink, which again, I think there's a place for it. I think it adds something like new and exciting to the the scope of play. Totally takes your defense out of the equation in much of the case, as the Eagles learned on that day. But at least you go in with the knowledge of like, yeah, we're playing on the hard court today. We're playing on this ice skating rink that is sort of looking like a football field, sort of resembles a football field. Yeah, I think there's a place for it. I think I've always complained that the NFL stadiums are too like one-dimensional, where they're all exactly the same. It's like every other sport except for baseball, and it's one of the reasons it makes baseball the best sport, is because the fields, the dimensions of the fields are different. Like the diamond is the same, but like the stadium, there are different features to the stadium and different dimensions to the outfield and foul lines. And in football, it's all pretty much just that gridiron. This adds a little bit of nuance to it. Why not build like a lava pit in the middle of one of the stadiums?
Oh boy.
Like a Bowser.
All right. Well,
why not?
Now we're
build, you know what I'm saying? Why not build like some, like in Wisconsin where the Packers play, have like a fountain of like molten cheese running through the middle of the field? Why not have like, in Detroit, why not have like actual lions run out and chase the players around? And make anything to make it a little more exciting, I think.
Matt, this is why I love hanging out with you, because I think you're the only person on the planet who says, how do we get there to be more injuries in the NFL?
Yeah.
They aren't hurt enough. Let's make it more dangerous. You basically want American gladiators out there.
All I'm saying is I don't think Roger Goodell's job is hard enough, and I want to make it harder.
You want guys like Turbo and Nitro running around and getting little tennis balls shot at them and getting hit with punching bags, and you basically want American gladiators.
That's a great idea. Why don't we have like NOS, like we did in our Fast and Furious episodes? What if they just hook up cans of NOS to the like running back's legs? What could that
Well, they do. It's called steroids, Matt, and it's very much against the league rule.
Or in, I guess in the case of this Super Bowl, horse tranquilizers that they gave Patrick Mahomes after halftime, after taking that hit to the ankle. Horse tranquilizers, horse stabilizers.
Tranquilizers, I would think, put you to sleep.
Yeah, probably the stabilizers, like
it's probably horse heroin.
Yeah, something like that. There is a name for it, but I'm not going to look it up. But that people were bouncing it around. It's a drug name. I want to say mescaline, but that's probably not it. That probably does something else that I'm not thinking of.
Well, now I'm thinking of mezcal. So now
maybe
I'm
that's
just very
it.
confused.
I don't know.
Well, that's tequila. So
there was some kind of drug that they give to horses when they're injured. I think that was what the premise was. And yeah.
And just like an injured horse, they're going to turn Patrick Mahomes into glue. No, man, it was definitely an exciting game, I would say, more so than your average Super Bowl. Certainly high scoring with a final score of 38-35. So, certainly the on-field action wasn't too bad. No, it was an extremely thrilling game. I think not to beat a dead horse here, but I think the major consensus has been for several weeks now is, and I'm not, just to echo it here briefly, is just that I think most people didn't really care for the ending. The very end, an ending on nobody likes to see an official ruling like dictate the final outcome of a game, even though it was a penalty. I mean, But hang on, I'm going to stop you right there because that is so overblown. What he was holding? The player said, "I was holding." Yeah,
okay. I'm not saying it wasn't holding. I didn't say it's not holding.
No, but that's just part of the game.
But I'm saying nobody likes to see a game end with an official ruling. Would you disagree with that? I think most people want to see football. They want to see a game being played.
But that's part of the game. Like I get if it's a bad call. Then you have every right to complain.
Well, which is more exciting? Which outcome would you have rather had? Outcome A, where an official blows a whistle, calls a penalty, whether it happens or not, and it did happen, right? The guy even admitted, Brad Bird even admitted it happened. calling that penalty and effectively ending the game right there, or would you rather have seen another minute and a half?
So you want the official to look the other way?
Possibly could, which they do all the time.
They do.
You're
compromising the integrity of the league.
Do you think?
Okay.
Do you think the league has no integrity? Do you think that they? Do you think that you don't think they look the other way at times, Sean? Do you think they call every single penalty?
I look. You see it, you got to call it.
Oh,
you see it, you got to call it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Maybe he shouldn't have held the guy. How about that? Maybe that was his first mistake, was holding the guy.
But the other factor is that, okay, yes, what he did was holding, but did it interfere with the receiver, with Juju Smith-Schuster's ability to catch the ball? I don't think so. But
that's not how the rule's written. That's not how the rule. And by the way, Matt, it was a lame ending. I'm not.
Yeah,
my only point
that's all I'm saying. My primary argument.
What you're saying. Hang on.
My primary argument is that it was a lame ending. It was a lame ending.
No, what you're saying is officials should swallow the whistle at the end of games. That's what you're saying.
No, only in a case like this where it very clearly did not affect the outcome.
Only when you want them to.
I want to see football. I want to see football. I don't want to see officialing.
No, what you want to see is a free-for-all with no rules, guys grabbing each other,
maybe Rob Lowe
chucking each other, doing all kinds of stuff. No rules in the last 2 minutes.
I want to see football. I would be happier if there were no rules for the last 2 minutes. Honestly, I would be much happier. I would be much happier.
I see how it is.
I want to see football. Last 2 minutes of the game, I want to see.
You did. You saw well officiated football. That's what you saw.
No, I don't want to see well officiated football. I want football like it was in the 70s, poorly officiated.
But let's bring back the leather helmets.
Yeah, back in the day. You think they would have called that play against I don't know, Joe Willie? Who are some players?
Yes, Joe, famous NFL old-timey player Joe Willie.
He is the old-timiest of old-timey.
Yeah, might as well just go back to the days before the forward pass was part of the game, huh? If that makes it better for you.
Only if we could get icy fields like we saw there,
and lava pits,
ice.
No, hey, listen, it was a perfectly fine game. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs won with Patrick Mahomes as the MVP, Matt. Would you say the better team won that day?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say the better team won that day. I think that the better team, to me, it's still very much up. The better team that showed up. The better team that showed up definitely won.
I agree. I think you would agree with me on this. In a best of 3 or a best of 5 series, I think the Eagles win.
I would agree. I think that the defense, obviously the defense really did not have a good showing at all.
No.
0 sacks,
Hurts was
0
great.
interceptions.
Hurts had a great game.
Hurts was phenomenal. Yep. Hurts gave one of the best quarterback performances of my memory. In terms of individual. I mean, there was that botch, that fumble, that was a complete disaster that Bolden ran back for the touchdown, which really kind of sealed their fate in the end when you think about it. If that hadn't happened, the Eagles win. But if you really look at it, I think the better team, the Kansas City was the all-around better team on both sides of the football on that given day, on that given Sunday. But only by a very small margin. I would say, and it's really the glaring factor is the Eagles defense that had been present all season long and had been a tour de force all season long and did not show up at all on Sunday at all.
Let me give you a thought experiment here. Imagine if the Bengals had won the AFC Championship. Do you think they would have beaten the Eagles in that game that day?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not think so because Joe Burrow's not as good a quarterback is not as capable as Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was, look at Mahomes was phenomenal too. Very much worthy of the MVP.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't think Mahomes was phenomenal?
I think Joe Burrow is very talented, just in a different way. I think that team is built in a different way. And do I think the Eagles could beat the Bengals? Yes, I wouldn't call it a slam dunk, but I think the game was less about Kansas City being great than it was about the Eagles being not great, which would lead to another AFC team having the possibility to beat what was clearly the best. Honestly, I think the NFC was less close in terms of good teams than the AFC was. That's my opinion. The Eagles were by far the best team in the NFC. Who was close? The Vikings? I mean, the Cowboys? Like, these are not Super Bowl playing and winning teams. Whereas on the AFC, Bengals were just in the Super Bowl. We were hot in the Bills all year, and they kind of collapsed down the stretch. Obviously, the Chiefs. I'm just saying, I think other AFC teams would have had. I think the AFC would have had a stronger showing regardless.
No, I agree. I think it wouldn't. I would agree that it wouldn't be a slam dunk. I think that the Bengals would have made a run for the money, but I think the Eagles win out. Just it all. And we said this going in. We said this. It all depended on the defense, especially the pass rush. Right? If you have to put pressure on Mahomes, you have to force him into bad decisions. You have to make him uncomfortable, and they absolutely didn't do that. Mahomes looked, even when he broke his ankle, he looked comfortable, right? Maybe not. Maybe that's the one moment he didn't
one sack, I think, in the whole game. I mean, it was it
no,
was a soft performance for him.
I don't even think that was a sack. I think he was out of pocket. I think he was scrambling. I think was
that what it was? But very little pressure.
Very, very little pressure. There were some near misses, and if you look on some of them, it's real close. But the Eagles defense was just the play calling was odd. Jonathan Gannon, Eagles' former defensive coordinator, now with the Arizona Cardinals, had some really questionable play calls on this one. He was very conservative, he would drop into pass protection a lot, which you can do, but I mean, we talked for ad nauseum about how you want to make Mahomes uncomfortable, and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. You drop into prevent, you drop into pass protect, you drop into man-to-man coverage. He's going to still beat you. He'll find ways to beat you. He's Patrick Mahomes.
But also on the other side of the ball, you got offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who arguably may be the best coordinator in the entire league, and Andy Reid. People, as a New England Patriots fan, I've heard this for a very long time. Belichick and Brady, obviously very successful together. Could they be successful apart? Was it because they were together they were so successful, or would that not have mattered? We saw Tom Brady win a Super Bowl without Belichick. Belichick hasn't been super successful after Brady's left, but time will tell. I think it's the same with Mahomes and Reid, where I think they're two great tastes that taste great together. Like, they're two very good coaches and players respectively, but I think together is why it works. I don't think Mahomes would be as successful with a different coach, and I don't think Reid would be as successful with a different quarterback. They'd both be fine. I mean, they'd be good players and coaches, but there is something to be said about that combination that just works so well.
Yeah, well said. I think. You can't. You can't take anything away from that coaching dynamic, Bieniemy and Reid, for sure.
No, the whole staff. I mean, the whole staff's incredible. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. But they're going to see a lot of changes this year, right? Bieniemy now with the Commanders, and didn't their defensive coordinator also leave?
I know the Eagles. The Eagles DC and OC both left.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if the Chiefs did.
Is anyone left with the Eagles?
The head coach is still there. You still have Sirianni.
Oh, Steve Spagnuolo. No, he's still there.
Yeah, Spagnuolo is still there. Yeah.
Very talented coach. Matt, listen, nobody wants to talk about the game. Game's the least exciting part of the Super Bowl. We all know why we tune in and watch, and that's for the commercials, the funny, hilarious commercials, Matt.
Oh, because there were so many this year. The commercials were so good this year. Do you remember any of the commercials? I literally can't. I can't remember a single one.
Well, you know what's funny is every year there's usually a theme around all the commercials. Last year was all like NFTs and crypto, and then you remember, was it 2017 after the 2016 election where they were all like sad commercials with immigrants?
Mm-hmm.
This year's theme was celebrity cameo. Every single ad. By the way, Matt, I did the research. I could not find an ad that did not have some kind of celebrity cameo in it, big or small. That was buck wild to me.
They were pretty big into that. Do you think that's marketing? It's obviously marketing, but do you think that's like they crunched the numbers on previous ads and saw the ones that were most positively favored were the ones that featured celebrities? Was there any research?
My speculation would be it's a combination of celebrities being more willing to do things like this these days, where 10 years ago you would not get some of these people in commercials. And the other is that companies are investing more money, not less, in Super Bowl commercials. They can afford to bring in some stars. And I think the thing is they need to stand out above the rest and to get the social media buzz around the celebrity where you might not get it around, beer horses or whatever that people have seen before. So I don't think this trend is going away. There were a lot of cameos last year, but this year it was literally every ad.
No, yeah, I now that you mention it, yeah, the ones that are jumping out to me. There was was it John Travolta was in an ad?
He was in the T-Mobile ad with the guys from Scrubs singing Grease songs.
Guys? Yeah.
There was the I'm looking at a list here so I can remember all of them.
Ben Stiller was in an ad with Martin Short. Not Martin Short. With
Steve Martin
for
Pepsi
yeah.
Zero Sugar. Where if they drink the soda and they goes, that's delicious. Is that great acting or great taste? I thought those were funny. There was the Popcorners Breaking Bad commercial.
Of course.
The Rakuten Clueless spot with Alicia Silverstone. There was the Dunkin' Donuts spot with Ben Affleck where he's working the drive-thru.
J-Lo pops out of the end, yeah.
That's right. She said, "Grab me a glazed," she says. There was the one commercial I actually did like was the Bud Light. So this was funny. True story. I was watching ads and I'm like, there are a lot of celebrities. And there was one ad I thought there's no celebrity in this one. And it was the Bud Light Hold music ad.
I was just going to ask about this because that seemed to be a favorite, among the
because
a crowd
it was kind of calm and it was clever. By the way, it is that it's song all that. So I did like it. I rewatched the ad. Miles Teller is the guy in the ad. The actor Miles Teller from the Fantastic Four, that movie.
Googling who that is.
And,
okay.
That guy. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
This guy. Okay. Top Gun Maverick. Oh, he was in Whiplash. Yes. He's the Whiplash guy. Okay.
Yes. No, he's famous. But I didn't realize it when I watched it the first time. God damn it, there's a commercial. I did like that one, though. I thought that was funny. The Michelob Ultra Caddyshack ad that had like 5 different celebrities in it.
There were a couple of celebrities, in that one.
What else?
Gronk kicked a football.
He did. T-Mobile had a different ad with Bradley Cooper and his mom.
Yep.
Squarespace had Adam Driver. There was that Netflix and GM electric cars one with Will Ferrell.
There was also those QB ads. I don't think QB was that the Tubi. Oh,
Tubi, yeah, the streaming service, yeah.
Tubi ads. They didn't have, but those I don't think those had celebrity.
No,
there was one that made you think like you had like sat on the remote.
Yeah, but the other ones with the creepy rabbits, that was Tubi, and you're right. I don't think those had a celebrity, so you might be right.
What is Tubi? They're not sponsoring the show, so maybe we shouldn't talk about them at length. But just in general, what is it?
Actually, there's a funny name for what these are called, but it's like Pluto TV, or it's these streaming services where it's a bunch of like channels where it's just playing content that's streaming, if that makes sense. It's basically an ad-supported streaming service.
It's for boomers.
That's free.
It's a streaming service for boomers.
Sure, for people who don't want to pay money for things.
Okay. I'm just thinking about it like it's just constantly streaming and you don't have to worry about like what's on. It's
literally like flipping channels, except each channel is a continuously streaming show or theme or movie or whatever.
Got it. All right.
Now, I do have to ask Matt, because one thing we also saw, aside from product advertisements and ads for Fox shows we're not going to watch, is movie trailers.
Speak for yourself. Are you not excited to watch the Roseanne Barr stand-up special?
Oh, on Fox Nation? Yeah, you're not going to tune into Gutfeld? No, I'm too busy watching The Masked Singer in its 20th season. And Joel McHale in Animal Control. No, a lot of movie trailers as well. It's a big time of year for that. We saw, among others, Cocaine Bear, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, The Flash, and then the ones that I am most... Air, the one about Nike and Michael Jordan, which seems weird.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious how they can make an entire movie about this, but I also thought the same thing about The Big Short, and The Big Short was fantastic. So,
and by the way, did you see that they're making a Tetris movie for Apple TV Plus?
Yes, that'll be,
which looks good.
It actually does. It'll be very interesting to see that.
But what I did specifically want to mention is we saw 2 trailers for movies that, due to obligation, we will be watching on the show, and that is Creed 3 and Fast 10, Matt, coming later this year.
That's right, both of them. They're added to our pantheon of now ever growing franchises. Excited.
Are you excited for either?
I am. I was excited when we did a couple episodes where we talked about the new Bond movie, and then we watched the new Bond movie. So I think this is going to give us a little content boost where we can do the same treatment for Creed 3 and for the new Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious, I'm not going to lie. I thought it looked kind of good. I don't know. I think it.
But to be honest, those movies are basically one long trailer.
Also, yeah, and my favorite character. I mean, my favorite has always been Dominic Toretto, I think. So the more of him is always going to be good. And I mean, you can't sleep on Snacks either. Snacks is another good character.
I require 2 things in my movie, and that's Hobbs and Shaw, and they're not in it. Actually, I think Shaw is in it. Actually, I did see him in the trailer, but The Rock is not.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, what's the new bad guy? Is it Dave Bautista? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's it's the other guy. Jason Momoa is the bad guy.
But it should be Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista
should be. How is he not in that franchise?
How is he not in the crew yet? He should be part of the family. How is he not joining the family?
That is too good.
He would fit right in like a glove. Like he's been there the whole time.
Fast 11.
Come on. How have they not thought of that yet? Get Dave Bautista in the family. Come on.
Oh my God. No, I am in no way. I am absolutely not excited for either of these movies. I do not want to watch them. I thought Creed 2 was good, honestly, and I didn't need another.
You know what? I'm going to take the opposite here. I'm going to take the over. I'm actually excited for both of them. I think Creed 3, the trailers look kind of interesting. They're doing a little bit of an interesting dynamic with the character. I'm kind of, I don't have to know where like he's going next, where the adventures of Adonis Creed lead us next, but I'm going to watch, and I'm going to be excited about it.
On the plus side,
Fast and Furious,
Michael B. Jordan's the man. Like,
right, that's what I mean.
I'm sure it's going to be.
Film.
I'm sure it'll be fine. The thing about the Fast 10 is it's just I'm tired. I just can't watch any more of those movies. It's the same. I was watching the trailer and I'm like, it looks like all the other movies because it's all the same people doing all the same things. There must have been. There's got to be now 50 characters in this movie.
Cars
who have all appeared.
What they do? Cars go fast.
It's absolutely wild to me. This movie must cost $1 gazillion to pay all these people.
Where is the exotic location this time? Did they say? Do we know?
I don't know if they've revealed exactly.
There was definitely for the trailer. It was something like very iconic. Like I want to say the Colosseum was like in the background or something. Like it very, very clearly seemed like they were in Italy or.
Yeah, it does not say in the description here, but the Wikipedia page did remind me of the moment in the trailer I actually gave up on life, which is at about the 2/3 mark when Letty wakes up and looks over, and it's Charlize Theron is back, and I'm like, no, stop!
Oh no,
I can't do this anymore. Not Cypher.
Oh no.
Totally
well, you knew she would be back. You knew.
They're all back.
I think we even said it in the episode that she's gonna come back because they let her live, and this is what happens when you let people live. You let the villain live, they're bound to come back for the sequel if it's successful.
I can't believe Helen Mirren's back.
Of course, Helen Mirren, Dame Helen Mirren, of course.
Brie Larson is in this one.
Of course. I'm like I said, I don't know what they haven't gotten Batista in there yet.
And also, we meet Dom's grandmother in this one.
Sure, why not? Maybe she'll be played by Tyler Perry. I don't know.
No, Rita Moreno. Still good,
Okay.
though. Anyway, so a lot to look forward to. Some great products to buy, Matt. We do have to talk about the other aspect of the Super Bowl we did not talk about, and that would be the halftime show. Rihanna out there doing her best, singing with the best of them in her red outfit. Matt, what did you think of the halftime show?
I thought it was good. No, to me it was a very comfortable middle ground. I didn't think there was anything that like wowed me about it. And I felt like some people really had some strong opinions about it, like one way or the other, but I was pretty lukewarm. I mean, I would err on the side of it was good. It was Rihanna and she was good and her routine was great, was very good. And like, she's one who's just she's just a good entertainer regardless. So I didn't think it was going to be bad. And the big reveal that she was pregnant, that was kind of cool. And her songs were good. If anything, I was surprised. I think we went in with some predictions about it that we'll get to, but I think she kind of defied some of those predictions, and her stage was neat. She had like a neat little like with the platforms. Mm-hmm. But I would say it was somewhere in a comfortable middle. Didn't love or hate it. It seems like we can never get all three though. We can never get good game, good commercials, good halftime show all in one. I can't point to a single Super Bowl that was all three. Maybe the one that comes the closest was the Steelers Cardinals Super Bowl.
Who was their halftime?
That was Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, okay.
That was, to me, my personal favorite halftime show. Prince being a close second. But
yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I think I actually was going to look at who did the halftime show at. Oh, okay. I was going to say,
and
yeah,
we had a good game. That was my point was that it was a great game. It was one of those like photo finish with that run. I think there was the like 94-yard dash at the end of the game that sealed the deal for the Steelers, and you had the Bruce doing the halftime show. And I don't remember the commercials, but I assume they were pretty good. So that might be the only one that had the trifecta. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. What was your...
No, I was just looking to see, because arguably the most exciting Super Bowl in history was the Patriots comeback Super Bowl.
That was Lady Gaga did the halftime
show. That's what I was trying to remember who that was, which was not great. No, so...
With the drone.
Have you rewatched Rihanna's performance since the Super Bowl?
No, I have not.
Okay. So I did my annual tradition of rewatching the performance before tonight's show and then going down a rabbit hole of watching a whole bunch of other Super Bowl halftime performances I've seen a million times. I liked it a lot better on the rewatch. If you had asked me right after the Super Bowl, I was pretty meh on it. But you know what? I liked it a lot better in the rewatch. I caught a lot more of the details and was able to kind of focus on the performance. I enjoyed it a lot. I definitely wouldn't call it my favorite Super Bowl performance. If you're a fan of Rihanna, I think you got what you wanted out of it. If you're a fan of something you can kind of look at while you're doing other things during the Super Bowl, I think you liked it. What I really look for in a Super Bowl performance, which actually, by the way, I think is a little different from you even, is I like high energy spectacle. I like colors. I like variety. I like high energy. And I think of halftimes like Coldplay, with Beyonce and Bruno Mars, very high energy, very exciting. I think of Katy Perry, high energy, lots of colors, and even to some degree, The Weeknd. Not so many colors, but a lot of variety in what's going on. I thought the whole Rihanna show was very same. She sang the songs, the set didn't change a lot, the dancers didn't change a lot. That's probably my number one criticism. Overall, I would say it's definitely above the midline in terms of Super Bowl halftimes.
In terms of sets and in terms of movement, I think The Weeknd is tough to beat. I very much enjoyed his halftime show. That was 20.
Oh, it was awesome.
21?
Yes, you are correct. In Tampa
Chiefs,
Bay. Yeah.
Chiefs Bucks, in Tampa. That Super Bowl, that was one of the best ones in recent-ish memory that I think was Very,
But I
very
think
good.
part of that is the high energy music. And not that Rihanna isn't, but it's a little. But the other thing, so last year was the Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, the amalgam of people. I thought it was good. Other people seem to enjoy it more. And I think it's just, again, it's what I look for versus what other people look for. So I think this is one everyone, for the most part, can say was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So no major complaints.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, I do want to ask you a question. I was thinking about this before the show. Who do you think should do the Super Bowl next year? Halftime show.
I do have a prediction on that.
Okay.
And it's kind of combination of just catalog presence and fame and overall fame. And I think most people are surprised that this artist hasn't done a Super Bowl yet. I think and I think another part it's a combination of their fame, their stature, but I think it's also another part with marketing and like selling a brand creation. Like, think about why people do a Super Bowl, right? You do the Super Bowl mostly because you are trying to promote an album, trying to promote your catalog.
Yeah,
you
yourself.
really have to be kind of established. You're not going to get like a new artist to do it.
Although, I think part of the reason The Weeknd was so interesting. That's really the only newer artist I can think of they ever had.
And I think a lot of that might have had to do with just the timing of it with the pandemic. Yeah. You have to have somebody who's going to promote their catalog, promote their brand. You have to have somebody known, a household name.
Absolutely.
Someone that is
globally recognized.
Yeah, globally recognized. Someone that has a lot of clout in the industry and has won many awards and is established. And I
have no idea who you're setting up. I have no clue who you're setting up here.
I think the next Super Bowl will be Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift is going to do the next Super Bowl.
You're very smart. I was going to say, if I'm the NFL...
I was going to say the green M&M, but I don't want to be controversial. So
with those sexy boots.
Right.
Yeah, if I'm the NFL, my first call is to Taylor Swift. But my guess, to be honest with you, Matt, is my first call has been to Taylor Swift every year for the past 5 years, and she won't do it.
Well, rumor has it. I don't know if this is true or not. This is just rumor has it that she had a contract with Coca-Cola, and for many years, right, it was the Pepsi halftime show, and that precluded her for many years, for many decades from doing the halftime show. And I don't know how true that is, but it's interesting, and it may kind of make sense. Like, has she been in Coca-Cola advertising before?
Not that I remember, but it also wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. Just that if she had this kind of, it would at least stop her from doing something associated with the Pepsi name. And now that it's the Apple Music Award, Apple Music halftime show, the story was that she didn't go into it this year because she's busy reworking her music, her album.
She's got her huge tour coming up this year,
and she's got the big tour coming up. Another perfect reason for her to do this, to cap it off.
Yeah. No, I think if you're the NFL, that's who you want. I don't think there's anybody more universally loved and enjoy. Like, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, and I know a ton of her songs. If I can't get Taylor Swift and I'm the NFL, my second call is probably the Harry Styles.
Okay.
I think he's got maybe not the biggest catalog, but if you want someone who's hot now and who can put on a good show, I think he's a guy to call. I would also think, I'm surprised this person hasn't done it, although I admit they're probably a little, I don't want to say a bummer, but they're probably a little slow for the Super Bowl, and that would be Adele. I think Adele would do a killer halftime show. And again, another person whose songs are very, very well known and could easily fill 13 minutes.
Yeah, it reminds me of like an opera. You could have like an opera in the middle. Like, reminds me, that would be like a kind of a throwback to was it Marvin the Magician?
Elvis Presto.
Elvis Presto. Yeah.
Yes. Bebop Bamboozled.
Bring back some variety show at the halftime.
Well, but that's what I like. I want gimmicks, and I want effects, and I want. You know who now? If Sean Jennings got to pick who the halftime show was, do you know who I would pick? You'd never guess. You would never guess.
Daughtry. Are they still around?
Nickelback.
Yeah, is that still a thing? One was it Bowling for Soup?
Bowling, no. Although to be honest, if they did do like a throwback to early 2000s pop punk, I think it would be
Three Doors Down.
Oh, Three Doors Down. Yeah, Disturbed. I like that. Yeah, featuring Creed. Actually, I think because again, I think who could put on a great show. They maybe not a huge catalog. I think they would need someone with them. Lizzo. I think Lizzo would be an awesome
a little new, but her energy. I respect her energy.
She's very fun and funny, high energy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. She would definitely have to do it.
She would be very
somebody.
Entertaining. Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very entertaining. Rizzo and Rihanna would have been an interesting combination. Rihanna would have totally upstaged her, but
I mean, Rihanna deserves to get it on her own for sure. But I think back to the J-Lo Shakira halftime show, where it's like J-Lo alone, not enough to fill it out. So you match her with somebody and you get a whole show. That's, I think, Lizzo and somebody else. And I think you could really do a great show.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I totally agree. I think that would
anyway.
Be great. You know what? How about this? Lizzo and Janet Jackson.
Now that would be pretty exciting.
Yeah?
That would
and
be
Janet
pretty
Jackson
exciting.
Finally gets her redemption for 2000, 2001.
And then Janet Jackson rips off Lizzo's dress.
Yes, and they don't cut away. They just
Feminine
leave the lights
power.
on. They leave, or they dim the lights and then they bring them on even brighter. That'll show all those rumors. Yeah, that would be great. And then they just blow up a Pepsi logo behind them. Just blow it up.
It says "fuck Pepsi" on it in fireworks. Yeah,
I love it.
This is why we don't design the halftime.
I hope that whoever is making the halftime, I hope Jay-Z is listening to this right now.
Call us. We're available.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Well, as we head towards the back end of the show, we got to get into the prop bets. We've talked about everything involving the game, except our spin on it, which is our Super Bowl prop bets. We ran, how many did we run? We ran 13 bets this year. And Matt, I think we should take them in order in which they occurred and see who won this year. I mean, if you followed us on Twitter, you already know the answer, but, let's go through it. What do you say?
Let's do it. Let's go through them.
So starting off with the anthem, performed by Chris Stapleton this year. Vegas had the over-under at 205. I took 206 and you took 210. We play closest to the pin on this one. Matt, it was 201. So Vegas was pretty close. It just came in under. That's a pretty normal time for an anthem.
Yeah, it was.
Good anthem.
It was. Yeah, I think it was decent. I remember thinking, it's one of those things where time passes a lot quicker in your head. I remember thinking like, oh, I got this in the bag. And then I read your tweet and saw that it was well under what I had. I figured, Southern guy, we went through this in the pre-show, but Southern guy, drawl, country, thought maybe he'd drag it out. He loves America. He's going to play it up, but a little quicker than I guess, maybe he was too busy, worrying about how he's going to slip on that field that was way too slippery and wet.
Matt, he did it. He did the anthem from a stool. I don't think he was running anywhere. So that was a point for me, and I take the lead right off the bat. That's followed by the coin toss, which we did a little differently this year. We didn't just pick the heads or tails of it. We also picked which team would win. It came up tails, which meant the Eagles, which meant the Chiefs won it. And I got 2 points. I correctly guessed tails and Chiefs, exactly how I predicted.
Yep, that worked out. That's one of those flip of the coin.
Well, and it breaks you had 4 years in a row of correctly guessing the coin.
Tails never fails.
You didn't, and you always get to pick the coin first. So you picked heads, and no luck there. So that puts me up 3-0 off the bat. We had the first team to call a timeout. I was surprised. The first timeout wasn't called until right at the end of the second quarter. I thought something would happen. There'd be a miscommunication. They'd have to call one earlier. But it was, in fact, the Eagles who called the first timeout, which was my prediction. Puts me up 4-0 at this point.
That was a new bet. That was one that we had never done on the show before.
Absolutely. Our first one, and it was not exciting at all. Although I was watching very closely to see when the first timeout was going to be used. Next one, new one this year, result of the first drive. You picked the most likely answer, a punt. I took the least likely one, other. But this was a high-scoring Super Bowl, Matt. They took it all the way down on the first drive, the Eagles, for a touchdown. Neither of us got a point.
That was the was that the A.J. Brown catch? Was it a run? I think it was a run. Was it Gainwell run? I remember whoever it was ran. Wait, maybe it was Hurts. I think Hurts ran.
Yeah,
it.
I think that was
Hurts
the one where
yeah.
someone ran it in, but they called it back, and then
Right.
Hurts took it in.
That's right. Yep. It was like a sneak. Did you know, by the way, that move that the Eagles offense used, they're calling it the tush push? I love this about the Eagles because every time they've been in the Super Bowl, they've come up with a new play. Like we got the Philly special last time against the Patriots. Now we're getting the tush push, which is this victory formation. And we know Hurts. Everybody on that field knows exactly what's going to happen, but everybody basically just pushes the quarterback over the line. It's like almost like a rugby, like a scrum.
He puts his hips at like a 90-degree, like his whole upper body is like parallel to the field.
Right.
That's
like
what's unique about it. And he just like surfs on top of the pile, and they
pushing him. Might be a topic for another day, but apparently the NFL is looking to ban the tush push, Sean.
Yes, I heard.
No fun league.
Well, that's they anytime you got a good idea, the league league gets involved or everyone copies it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We should have taken a bet, another prop bet. I actually almost texted you about another one, not this one, but we should have taken a bet of will there be a trick play? Will there be a trick play? And I don't know. Would you have described the tush push as a trick play?
No, I wouldn't describe it.
I wouldn't either. Play. I think it's more of like a special play, but they did it too many times for it to be a trick play.
When the Chiefs did that thing where they all run in a circle and then sprint, that I might call a trick play.
Really?
Although the play itself wasn't a trick, I guess.
The play
it was
typical. It's just a thing they do. It's like a little war dance.
It's the lineup of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of trick plays.
No, but that could be a fun addition for next year. Is all I'm saying is, will there be a trick play, and which team is more likely to call a trick play?
I like that.
That idea is not my own. I can't take credit for that. I heard that in another NFL podcast. But
please take
credit.
It.
Yeah.
Matt, we had another new bet this year. What will the first missed field goal of the game be? We had no guarantee that there was going to be a missed field goal. I said it would go right. You said it would be short or hit the bottom pole. The bottom. What's the word I'm looking for? The bottom crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I predicted it would be Harrison Butker in the first quarter who would miss.
Mm-hmm.
So I was close. Unfortunately, I said it would go right, and he went left.
This was a very specific bet.
Goalpost.
I feel like there were a lot of moving pieces, moving articles to this bet.
Yeah, I honestly, afterwards I realized, because I'm an idiot, I should have thought, what leg does he kick with? He kicks with his right leg. So I have no statistics to back this up, but I would think if you were a right-legged kicker, the way your foot swings, I would think you'd be more likely to hit the left upright.
Definitely more likely, but not. I mean, if you ever played Madden, it's
there's no guarantee.
It all depends on really where you hit the ball. You could hit the ball on the left part of the ball, and it's going to spiral to the right. But you're more likely because you're a professional kicker. right? You're driving all of that power to the left sides, so you're more likely to miss left because you're going to overdo it. You're going to overdrive it. More likely than if you're more of an amateur kicker, you might just be aiming, your kick in the wrong spot, and that'll shoot wide right. So physics.
Yeah, there were made field goals during the game. There just happened to be one that was missed, so nobody
Not
got
many.
the point on that one.
Did Elliott make any? The Eagles kicker?
Well, their final
Elliott?
score was 35.
He was there for some extra points, but I don't think he made it.
No, that's all touchdowns to reach
all
35.
touchdowns. Yeah,
35 is 7 times
field
4.
goals for the Eagles.
Or times 5. Yeah, so I don't know if he had any field goals, actually, come to think of it.
And did
but
Butker have
did
any
make
besides the one at the very end? He had the missed one.
Yeah. No,
Right
it's the
before
one
the
at the
half.
end.
Mm-hmm. He made the one at the end, right, which sealed the deal.
Yep.
But
Yep. It was pretty much all touchdowns.
Yeah, very touchdown heavy game.
Let's see here. And that brings us to halftime. Rihanna's performance. We each picked 4 songs that we thought were going to appear at halftime. We'd get a point for each correct one. Matt, this was really your opportunity to take the ball and run. Of course, this is a long time bet we've done for many years. The first several years we tied it. Then in 2021, you won. 2022, I won. And this year, Matt, you won this bet. You correctly predicted 3 songs, Umbrella, Diamond, and Run This Town. I only correctly predicted 2, which was We Found Love and Work.
This was the bet that I put the most work into and the most research. So I'm happy that this one at least paid off. This one I have a lot to say though. There's I was genuinely surprised that do you remember her first song?
A bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have my money. I didn't think that was even going to come up in the show, but it was the first song. I think another possible change I'd like to implement maybe for next year, see how you feel about it, is I would like to see if we could make an extra bet on who can get the first song of the Super Bowl.
I think we did that one year.
So we could I like the idea that we choose several, like maybe we choose 3 songs, but maybe we can lock in also the first song. What song will be first? What song will be last? That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, come to find,
she ended with diamonds, right?
I have the whole. Yeah, she ended with diamonds
because the fireworks went off. Yeah.
Yes, diamonds in the sky. She was floating in the sky. It was actually a really cool shot. No, man, I'm looking through our old record. Last year, we did bet who the first artist to sing was because it was the big collection of everybody singing. Snoop Dogg was first. But yeah, I would definitely be willing to give that. In Vegas, you can bet on the first song to be sung at the Super Bowl. So
yeah, no, that was very surprising. I don't know. I didn't think she would do Rude Boy either, and she also did Rude Boy. She really did a lot of.
It was not all hits. It was not there. This was a very deep cut Rihanna set list. There were some hits in there, but there was a lot of songs where I'm like, I've never heard that, or I did not know that was Rihanna. So Matt, at this point, the score is 6-3, and you really need to just run the table to stay alive in this thing. But we still have a number of bets left. Including, Matt, I have 2 bets that I'm officially announcing the results of right now. We didn't have them at the end of the game. The first being the number of beers sold at State Farm Stadium. The line was set at 120,000. I said under, and you said over. And the result is no result. State Farm Stadium did not release how many beers they sold, and therefore Vegas is calling it a push.
I was not ready for that.
No points awarded.
Wow.
I was but then I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, there's no guarantee they'll even say. So come to think of it, kind of a stupid idea in general for that bet. I blame Vegas.
It was an interesting idea. I like the idea because it's like they're in a desert, so maybe they're going to drink a lot, but also they're in a desert, so maybe they don't want to drink a lot because they're in a desert. But also
never know.
Philadelphia fans are crazy. So
Honestly, I think
Never
everyone
know.
was so like locked to the game they weren't going to the concessions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but who knows? We'll never know. The other bet we didn't get a result of until today. What will happen to the price of Bitcoin during the Super Bowl? We both thought it was going to go down. Matt, the price of Bitcoin went up slightly.
Of course.
So if you follow like the line during the game, it went down through like the first 2/3 of the game and then went back up and so it was basically down the whole game and it just broke even and went a little above it like right towards the end. So technically it was up.
Do you think the game had any impact on that whatsoever, or that's
Absolutely not. It's just a volatile non-entity that can do whatever it wants. So
Yep.
no.
And no commercials for Bitcoin really at all this year.
Yeah, I think there was one. And there was that weird mobile game ad that was very suspicious and looked like a scam.
Oh, they always have that. Yeah, there's always one of those, and there's always a Scientology commercial. So that's like what
and the Jesus he gets us ads.
The Jesus he gets us. They
they
invaded like a viral disease into this.
Very
this,
strange.
Very strange, especially when you find out like what that those people are for.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you get a chance, look up like the hundreds of millions of dollars slush fund that they have from a handful of rich people. It's all very strange.
Very strange.
So no points on the Bitcoin for anybody. Now, Matt, we got to move into one of our favorite bets. The Gatorade color dumped on the winning coach. Matt, you've never won this one. In the history of our bets, I've won it twice, including last year. For this year's bet, you said they were going to drop green, Philly green. I said it was going to be orange. And Matt, they dumped, for the first time, at least going back to 2017, purple. Purple on Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Did they pick the right color, you think?
No, well, I remember making that bet. You caught me at the height of like Philly Eagles frenzy. That was when I went on my rant, my whole Eagles rant.
The media, I remember
about the media, yeah. So that was really, I think that highly influenced my decision. Not that I would have picked purple otherwise. I probably would have picked like blue or something. But yeah, that was my reasoning for that pick. I think I don't even know if I've ever had purple Gatorade before. Like I said, we weren't really a big Gatorade drinking family growing up, but I don't know what a purple Gatorade even tastes like. Is it grape? Is it a grape flavor?
I don't know, actually. I'm not a big Gatorade guy either. Let's see. What is the purple Gatorade flavor?
I'm assuming it's grape. Like what else would it be?
Fierce grape.
Yeah.
I
thought they would. I thought they were just going to dump like cheeseburger grease,
just a bucket of bacon on
like
Andy
milkshake.
Reid.
Yeah, to go with the cheeseburgers that Andy Reid likes.
No such luck. He got his electrolytes whether he liked it or not. So no points there. So basically, Matt, at this point, the score is 6-3. You would have to run the table to tie at this point. And we get into the end of the game, the winner, the final score, and the MVP. Matt, of course, you picked the Eagles with the MVP being Jalen Hurts. He certainly had an MVP performance, but that was not enough. The Eagles did not win. The Chiefs did, with Mahomes being the MVP, as I predicted. So I got the points for winner and MVP. And then the final score, I was closer technically. You said 24-14. I said 34-24. But based on the rules of our prop bet challenge, you've got to be plus or minus 1 point on both numbers. That's the only way I won it back in 2017. I think it was the final score was like 35-27, and I was 1 point off. And no one's won it since. So, Nat, that concludes our bets with a final score. Sean with the victory, 8-3, the largest margin of defeat in the history of our prop bets challenge. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. It was not a good year for me. Not a good year in prop bets. But now I think is the part of the show where we get to predict who will be in the Super Bowl next year.
I like how quickly you just go past. You're like, well, we tried anyway. No. You're right. I'm not even rubbing it in. It was good competition. By the way, that makes me a back-to-back champion after winning last year. So
it's ever since I moved into this house. I really think it might be this house.
It's cursed.
It very well might be this house. It's the back to back. The Eagles haven't won. Back to back. I haven't won the Super Bowl prop bets. I was better off living in the apartments. The apartments were the key, I think, to my victory. I had a nice stretch going on. I won like 6 in a row or something, right?
You won 3 in a row. And by the way, the overall standings, we started in 2016. The overall standings right now is you 5, me 3. So overall, you've won more.
Yeah, but that gap is closing. That gap
very quickly, because at one point, by the way, it was 5-1. So I finally learned how to play. It only took me a few years.
Storming back.
I am. But we've got to do next year. You're absolutely right, Matt. We did this last year, and the results were embarrassing. But damn it, it hasn't stopped us before. Matt, who do you think is going to play in the Super Bowl next year?
John, I was so far off the mark last year.
I don't know what we were doing.
My prediction was what was it? What did I say? Vikings and Bills, was it?
It was.
No, Cardinals. I said.
Yes, you did say.
Yeah. God, that was way off. So, what was yours? Yours was a little bit more reasonable.
It was you. Oh, I'm sorry. You had Bills, Cardinals, and I had Colts, Vikings for some insane reason.
Yeah,
I must have been drunk. I don't know what happened.
Very, very far off. So that being said, I think
huge mistake.
I would like you to go first on this one. I want to defer to you since you were the winner.
Oh,
you were the winner of the prop.
Thankfully, this is one that has absolutely no stakes on it. So I'm not afraid to make a stupid prediction. Let's see. Who am I going to pick in the NFL? Gosh, there's going to be obviously a lot of upheaval. We're already talking about free agent players moving. The draft is obviously coming up. New coaches are all about. Who do I think? I mean, I think if you're looking at I promise I won't take forever on this. When you're looking at the AFC, I mean, I really do think you got to think the Kansas City Chiefs are the incumbent favorites. No doubt about it. But I think it's boring if I pick them because they've been to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl too much. So you got to look at what team can really pull it out. This is a surprisingly tough one. My early prediction, and I've got to make it something wild because otherwise it's not fun. Out of the AFC, I think you're going to have the Miami Dolphins. And they are going to play from the NFC. Again, a lot of movement, a lot of interesting stuff. And I think it's going to be... I'm going to pick the Detroit Lions because I just want to be super wrong.
I love it. Bold
so
pick.
I think it's going to be sea versus land, Dolphins versus Lions in the Super Bowl next year. A pick that will no doubt be incorrect. Matt, who do you think is going to play next year?
I think that's an awesome pick. I'm going to play it a little bit safer because past me came out and just completely embarrassed current me with my previous pick before. Although I don't think I was too far off. A lot of people had the Bills, pegged higher than what they shaped up to be. But I don't know what the hell I was. There's no excuse for thinking the Cardinals were going to be anywhere sniffing the playoffs this year. When I made that prediction, so I'm going to play it a little safe with the NFC pick, and I'm going to pick the Eagles. I think the Eagles will be back. I think there's no real reason to believe otherwise. I mean, they lost their coaching staff, and you'll probably see a few more departures with free agency this year. But I think that core, as long as you have Jalen Hurts, as long as you have Nick Sirianni, I think the Eagles will be in the conversation. And I think what puts them over the edge is they're hungry. They're going to be a much hungrier, they're going to be much more out for blood next year. So I think you'll see the Eagles back there again. I think the NFC Championship, though, they will face the Dallas Cowboys. I think that the Cowboys also should be in the conversation as well. But I think that they're going to ultimately, that Eagles defense is a scary behemoth, and I think they're going to overcome Dak Prescott in that. So I give the NFC Championship to the Philadelphia Eagles, and they will be facing, Sean, this is where it gets a little interesting. I think that there was a team in the AFC that definitely exceeded expectations, if you will, and in every sense. And I think they're on the cusp. And they're another team that the media, Sean, might be counting out a little bit. They might be counting them out a little bit. And they might be downplaying their achievements this year. And I'm going to say they're going to get to the AFC Championship. That team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be in the AFC Championship. Not, this is the AFC Championship now, not Super Bowl yet. Okay? They will be facing the Cincinnati Bengals. So Jaguars, Bengals, AFC Championship. All right?
The battle of the cats.
Yeah, exactly. Battle of the cats. I think you're going to see it's going to be Jags, Bengals, but in this cat-like battle, the team I'll go with the team that I was impressed with most looking at this year, and the team that I think really had a great shot. I think it's going to be the Bengals. So I think next year's I could go with the crazy pick, the out of left field pick, and say it's going to be a Jags Eagles Super Bowl. But I think I'm going to be a little more close to the vest on this one. I'm going to say it's a Bengals Eagles Super Bowl next year.
Matt, listen, that is a significantly more plausible Super Bowl than what I picked. So I think you have a far better shot. February 11th, 2024 will be the next Super Bowl taking place in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. It will be Super Bowl 58. Very exciting. Our 9th edition of this. Matt,
what is that?
Wonderful time this year. That would be LVIII.
Love it. Okay. Then, we're what?
Yes.
We're only one away from Livix.
Oh, that'll be a good one. And then after that, it goes to LX.
LX.
That's a big one. That's right up there with XL.
Right. You should put that one. Should be in LA. LAX. LA.
Well, they haven't actually. LIX will be in at the Superdome in Louisiana, and they haven't yet assigned a stadium for LX. So we'll see.
All right. Very cool. Thanks for coming aboard on this adventure with us. Our Super Bowl prop bets, one of my favorite episodes of the year. Easily. Always look forward to it.
It's been a good one. We'll be back next year again. And coming up, by the way, folks, you got to subscribe to the show for Debate wherever you get podcasts, or visit the website upfordebate.tv, because starting next month, ladies and gentlemen, get out those orange basketballs, start shooting for the hoop. It's March Madness is here. Set your brackets to whatever Matt has planned. It should be a lot of fun kicking off on our next episode, so look forward to that. And, of course, get in touch with us, upfordebatetv@gmail.com, or tweet us at upfordebatetv on Twitter, because we still use that. Matt, that's it. We're done here this evening.
That's a wrap.
We're wrapping it up. So that's it for the Super Bowl. We're moving on. Matt and I have some XFL to go watch. So until then, on behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We appreciate being here. We're going to see you next time for another great March Madness edition of Up for Debate.